Hello and welcome back to Writer's Block. So this time it's going to be my turn, and I'm going to talk about something that everyone's going to be mad about because of how we are usually, well, not we, me. DC! Yay! Woohoo! So let's just give some background. I was starting to really get back into DC and liking what they were doing. The new Teen Titans was super awesome. Jeff Johns' Superman was great. I was finally starting to get excited to read some DC stories. I was gonna actually start reading Wonder Woman. I was gonna start reading Batman, or at least like the Scott Snyder one because he's a good writer. And then I heard the news there's a new Crisis, and then automatically started swearing. Looked at my Superman comics and said, "You're worth nothing now." And then you just got very angry at DC. So yeah, my big thing is this new Crisis is just pissing me off.
Well, they're not going to say it's a new crisis, but you know it's a new crisis.
It's a new crisis.
Well, yeah,
Right.
the reason they're not going to say it is because they said there's going to be no more crisis.
Right, there's going to be no more crisis. It's a convergence, people. That's what it is.
It's Crisis Light.
Yes.
It's Crisis Light. It's Diet Crisis.
Quasi-crisis.
I mean,
Right.
but it's probably going to still have the same effect on the universe. So,
All that crisis goodness with no crisis after.
Well, the problem is that DC has been saying for a long time that, the sales have been great for New 52. But come on, we know otherwise. We were collecting the DC stuff and then we refused to,
yeah.
right? Because there wasn't anything that interesting. There was no more JSA, right? Forget that,
Yeah.
right? And then there was no more, what else were we picking up?
Aquaman.
Teen Titans. We're looking at that. You had Aquaman.
I had Aquaman, and then they
Right.
fucking kicked Jeff Johns off.
Right, and Aquaman was one of the that's for New 52,
Yeah.
but that was one of the most enlightening story arcs, right? And then when you take that, then there was also Swamp Thing, Animal Man, right? They were also pretty good as well, and they still didn't get the props that it deserves. Right?
Well, you can't forget everyone's favorite New 52 IP is Static Shock.
Where did he go?
I'm
I'm
it.
sure they sold like negative copies somehow.
And where did my Mr. Terrific go?
It sucked.
Yeah, he had tattoos and everything. We all got pissed off. Don't you remember this?
Yeah, I know we
Also,
did.
it was bad.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. He was so bad he got shipped off to Earth too.
Oh man, it's super hot outside. Hey, why don't
Yeah.
you take off your jacket? I can't.
Yeah.
They'll see the tattoos.
I know. No, but, you know what I mean? And it's like at one point they made Earth 2 like the NBA D-League. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, if you suck, you're getting shipped down there. You're in the developmental league, people. Right?
Oh man, he came out as gay.
Oh, yeah. Wait, he's gay? Send him to the D-League. Fast. Right?
Then they had Earth 2, which was an interesting concept, and did nothing with it.
And they're still not doing anything. And a few people say, oh my God, it's great and we're buying it. But nowhere near when you actually had that JSA concept, right? I mean, because we were all on board with it. We were all willing to read it, and I still say today they made the biggest mistake by putting Cyborg in the Justice League.
Yeah, it just feels like a waste. Like,
It's just like you pick the one guy that shouldn't have been there. Mr. Terrific should have been the member of the Justice
I don't
League.
understand why it
Right?
wasn't Mr.
You
Terrific.
pick Cyborg. And I'm like, not everyone likes Cyborg. It wasn't even that popular thing, but he was the only guy that you really knew. You couldn't put Steel because that would be a Superman mirror-like character.
Mm-hmm.
So he was out.
Also, Steel sucks.
Well, yeah. Right? And then you had, and of course now his new costume, Steel's new costume, looked like a bunch of pipe cleaners tied together. Right? So...
They really wanted the discount Superman
Yeah, I
deal.
know, right? This is
Bargain bin Superman.
That's right. For the US, it's the dollar variant Superman. That's what it is. For us here, it's Dollarama.
I was gonna say, isn't it Dollar Tree Superman?
Dollar Tree.
Dollar Tree Superman.
Yeah, exactly. So you put that in, and so now you take him.
But what's wrong with Black Lightning?
You could even use backlighting. Sorry, I try not to.
I think one of the bigger problems is like Who else are you gonna put in? Like, if it was me, it'd be Mr. Terrific, and then like Hal Jordan just goes and dies somewhere, and then we get cool black Green Lantern back.
John Stewart.
I love him.
Yeah.
He's the best.
Yeah. I mean, they had options.
Options.
I just don't know what was the big deal behind Cyborg. I like Cyborg, but I like Cyborg as the mentor.
Yeah, he's a leader.
And it's like, role. So you put him in a role where he's not a leader anymore. It's the same as Mr. Terrific. Like, if you're going to put Mr. Terrific in as the point man, right? Because you've now replaced Martian Manhunter, who technically was the point man. He was the one. And let's base this on a cartoon. So he was the point man, right? So all of a sudden, it was like he was sending these guys out, he was sending these guys out. And then you had Mr. Terrific that took his place. Mr. Terrific would have been the same thing. He would have been that point leader. He would have been that leader, and then you would have that field leader, right? Which would have probably been Batman, right?
I would have loved to, if I was in charge, replace Batman with Mr. Terrific.
Why would you replace Batman with?
Because I don't like Batman.
I know you don't like Batman.
Yeah, I know. It would be like no, but I'd be like, it's work. Trust me, it'll work, and then it would work, and then it would automatically would not work. Fail instantly, but I would be like, I at least did it.
So here's what's gonna happen. The bottom line is this: convergence is gonna happen. They're gonna merge all these worlds together. We're gonna get a piece of pre-New 52. We're gonna get New 52. We're gonna get Old Crisis, 0 Hour, all of these things put together, and they're going to come out with yet another universe. To which point they will probably start some of the titles again at number 1 again.
And number 1.
Hopefully not like 52 within 1 year.
Yeah.
The biggest failure of all time.
You know, but here's the thing. On a business standpoint, your rule of thumb, never to admit what your failure is. You always say otherwise. So we know they're saying it sold well. But we know, truth and in fact, it didn't.
Yeah.
Right? It really didn't. And it reflected on the number of people picking up those books. Right? So convergence is going to happen. And hopefully they'll change everything. Just give me back my Mr. Terrific jacket with Fair Play on it. Like, seriously, man.
Well, I was going to say, like, it's kind of sad that, like, no one can get hype for, like, new DC or anything like that. And the highest selling pre-sale comic of all time is Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like, that's depressing.
It is.
Like, just think about that. It's like, there's nothing in the comic universe that can get pre-orders in, but it's Star Wars that gets everyone to come. Like, one of the biggest, sure, I would grant that, but not the biggest.
But should it be the biggest? I don't think so.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is that like it's sad that it is the biggest.
Yeah.
And that no comic book character can get that kind of readership. And it's probably because of this.
Yeah.
Where no one wants to get in a new book because it's just gonna fucking go away in like 6 months.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that's my problem.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like, this is the biggest bullshit with DC is I tried to finally give them a fair chance. I wasn't gonna be the guy who was just yelling about DC constantly, and I wasn't for like a good couple months. I was like, hey, this is pretty decent. I'm enjoying this.
Right.
Like Teen Titans, it's basically Speed. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
That first issue, that was a good first issue. And everything after that was getting super good. Beast Boy was Beast Boy again. Everything was going back to normal.
Mm-hmm.
Raven was cool again. I was super happy about that. I was like, yeah, this is the Teen Titans I like. Superman was super cool. Everything was starting to come back together, and then just I heard the news, and I was like, fuck. Well, I don't care about anything anymore. All the actual, like, oh man, this is gonna be great, they just evaporated in an instant. Like, it was like, bam, gone. Oh man, well, fuck me.
And in an overall standpoint, which is what makes this very sad, is that they're not realizing this, but every time you start at number 1, right? And I'm not saying, the truth of the matter is that they've set up this system where there's collectability for comics, right? No problem. But every time you stop a set and you start again, the previous set you have committed to, story, value, whatever it is, has lost its value.
I know, I'm sitting on the fucking worthless death of fucking Superman.
Exactly.
Sitting there in this fucking stupid black flag
Yeah.
take up space.
It has lost its value. So now you're looking at trying to start stuff from number one. So your Justice League, would it have value? Maybe if you sell it as a set, but anywhere close to what you think it should be? Absolutely not. Right?
I think the biggest problem is not just even collectability; it's general worth of sets. Like not
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
collectability wise, but like creatively wise.
Right.
Like we have no strong
Yeah.
strong story arcs anymore.
Yeah.
There is no strong story arcs because 5 to 10 issues and they're gone.
Yeah.
Like what? Jeff Johns' 20 issues on Aquaman is going to be the one thing people can really sit there with, other than Scott Snyder's like good run on Batman.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Like those 2 runs and maybe Wonder Woman. There is no other really awesome arcs from DC.
Yeah.
Or let's even bring it to Marvel. There is nothing like that either. It's a general mindset of this industry right now of
Well, the difference between DC and Marvel is I don't think Marvel is going to have a crisis. I think they're just going to keep on molding and shaping the world until it can become a funnel, so that they can just keep on hyping up the movies.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
like that. I think that's a big part of what Axis is. Axis is so they can make a civil war, so they can promote civil war.
No, but my yeah, but like my problem is that like none of these new arcs are lasting long enough to be like Starmans or JSAs. Nothing's getting to that point anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like we can say Starman was like one of the greatest arcs. You know, James Robinson was on that thing from day one. It was great until the end. JSA, it was great until that issue. It was so good. It was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like what? I'm a big Cap fan, but like like Remender's run's gonna end. It got canceled, didn't it?
Which one? Captain America?
Yeah. Didn't Remender
Well,
get
it's
kicked
now
off?
all new Captain America. It's because
Yeah.
it's Sam Wilson now.
Yeah, isn't it getting
Right.
canceled or some shit?
No, it's not getting cancelled.
good. You told me that last time.
It started at number one again.
Oh, okay. Well,
But that's because it's
whatever. It's still like 24.
But that's what I mean, though. But if you go back now, if you're a Cap fan, that would be worth something to you because you're a Cap fan. Anything outside that, the so-called comic value system, it's not going to be worth a lot. Maybe 25 because that's where Sam Wilson gets to be Captain America. Or 1 through 12 because the Dimension Z story arc was one of the best that they've ever done for Cap. But the gap in between, it's really not worth anything. And it's something that we don't even talk about.
Oh, I love that in between arc. I'm just
Right?
gonna be that guy.
I mean, I know you love the in
I'm
between.
gonna be that guy.
but-
I love the entirety of Remender's
But
run.
if you're turning around saying, what was the best thing you liked about 1 through 25? The first thing is Dimension Z.
Dungeon Z was fucking amazing.
Yeah, so I mean,
That was a crowning moment
Yeah.
for like Steve.
yeah, exactly. So you know where that value comes in. But that will only work for somebody who likes Captain America. If you take the DC side of it now, you look at all those other titles, 52 titles, right? And you can count maybe in both hands, right? The value of one particular story, or maybe 5 or 6 stories, where you could turn and say, you know what? I can remember, this story in this particular story arc. Aquaman, we could remember. Batman, everyone talks about Court of Owls, but whatever. You know what I mean? We didn't dig that. I mean, is it because we're not Batman fans?
Yeah, I literally wouldn't read it because it was Batman, but
Right.
I want to give it a chance now.
Right. But here was the argument. Best Batman story. Night Terrors, Batman the Dark Knight.
Was that the one with the Bane serum stuff?
That's right, where they planted the bomb on Flash.
Is that the one?
There's Night Terrors.
With the weird rabbit?
David Finch was doing it.
Yeah. He was doing both the art
He was
and
doing
right.
the yes.
That was
right.
awesome.
Hey, and that was a Batman story. So for us, that's epic. So we will remember that stuff.
Well, I
because...
think I liked it just because it was a mystery.
Exactly.
It was an actual mystery instead of him just punching dudes in the mouth.
Batman as a detective.
Yeah.
He was trying to solve this, and that's what made it exciting. Outside of that, I don't really care about all the others.
I would like to read a lot of the Scott Snyder stuff because apparently it's super good. But I
I tried it, and I'm like, I'm like, guys, maybe I'm missing something, but I'm not seeing it.
Mhm.
Right? I'm not seeing where the excitement is for what they're doing with Batman. Outside the Batman side, I heard Batgirl was actually not
The
bad.
first run of Batgirl was fantastic.
Yeah. So Batgirl wasn't bad, but is
Well, I would say Batgirl until Gail Simone left was fantastic.
right.
Like-
I actually didn't like the death of the family kind of.
The death of the family.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's because I don't like the new Joker, but
Right.
it's probably because I don't like the new Joker. But I thought it was
Yeah.
kind of weak.
Right.
And like, what else with the DC runs have been good? Like, the first, like, I would say 6 to 10 issues of Deathstroke before they brought in Liefeld was like amazing. It was like one of the best
Right.
Deathstroke arcs I've ever read in my life. I was like, this is really good. I hope this
Right.
goes somewhere.
Right.
It went somewhere, straight into Rob Liefeld's hands.
Yeah.
And that's the like, that is the worst part about that.
Yeah.
Is that, like, instead of keeping this good arc going, they just revamp. Like, that's my biggest problem with all these crises and all this stuff like this, is that, like, we're not getting these great solid story arcs that we had in the past. Like, there's never gonna be a very good, like, Secret of Barry Allen. There's never gonna be anything like that anymore. There's never gonna be a JSA.
Mhm.
This good solid run that everyone's gonna go, wow, that was awesome, or anything like Captain America, Edward Baker. There's never gonna be like that, anything like that anymore.
Yeah.
That's my problem.
I agree with that. And the thing is, between the Marvel and DC, what you're gonna see is we haven't talked about a good Marvel story in a while. Actually, not since Spider-Man.
Well, I was gonna say Scarlet Spider is the best one, but the most recent one that I'm very interested in is actually a recommendation. So watch out for that next time.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
But
read them on.
but yeah, but we're not seeing
Well,
seeing
you know
that
what?
anymore.
I'll give them this. Like, Original Sin was very good. I am probably one of the few people who really likes Original Sin, like, a lot. Like, the ending, like, everyone's like, oh, it ended so soft. I'm like, that was the best part about it. Is that the ending was so, like, it was a very, like, small ending. Nothing really happened. It was just very, like, light.
And I think that's what the problem was. Great murder mystery. I know how we feel about that. You put a murder mystery in the in Marvel Universe, you're like, whoa, okay, we're on board with this. But the problem is that, and you know what? It's a big example for a lot of movies out there today that have that sort of murder mystery-esque feel. They start off really great, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they just blow their wads halfway through, and then at the end you're like, yeah, we kind of figured that out.
Well, no, I liked the very very, like, the kind of arc going down into the ending that was very small and very
Right.
silent.
Right.
I love that end. I love that arc. It was very interesting
Yeah.
for a Marvel story. Is why it was very, like, I
It's
think
one of the better stories, but is it something that I'm gonna remember? I may remember it in passing, but even when
well,
you
I'm gonna
brought
say
it
I'm
up,
gonna remember choice moments from it,
yeah,
not the entirety.
yeah,
That's the
Right.
problem. Is that
Yeah.
there's small snippets of it that I'm like, that was great.
Yeah.
That was great.
yeah,
The ending, seeing that guy look up at the stars
Yeah,
in
yeah.
that thing,
yeah,
that image is like burned into my goddamn head. It's so fucking great.
yeah,
But, like, that's it.
yeah,
Like, there was a middle. Remember that one issue where, like, I was shit until, like, the last panel where we're like, oh crap.
yeah.
Really?
I'm
An
gonna
entire-
disagree with both of you for a second when it comes to Marvel.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Because with the news of a new Power Girl happening, clearly DC's picking up on something that Marvel's been doing great. Yeah, so the universe is rapidly switching. Like, I do agree with the doing this.
So finish your point, then we're ending off.
Okay,
here.
fine. I fuck now I can't. Okay, hold on. Let me
Yeah, go ahead.
after everything. I agree that this whole all new and then what was the next one?
Which
But no, it's Marvel Now.
The
then
Marvel
All
now, the all new Marvel now.
Right.
Yeah, that shit's happening way too fast. But they're making these new characters that are going to survive throughout all of these changes. Miss Marvel isn't going anywhere.
That's right.
The new Nova isn't going anywhere.
Sam Alexander, yeah.
Yeah, Sam Alexander. We got Power Man and White Tiger. They're not going anywhere.
That's right.
Coulson as a staple.
Yeah,
of the series.
Coulson is like
Yeah.
these new characters that they brought in. At least we have that.
Yeah.
no matter what happens, we know that these characters are popular.
Daisy
People
Johnson.
really like. Yeah,
Yeah.
Daisy Johnson. Like these
Yeah.
characters are Daisy Johnson, especially since Agent of Shield. is
Yeah,
happening.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
yeah,
And a couple other series that are happening inside the Marvel universe
Yeah,
with
like-
her.
yeah.
yeah, like there's a lot. These characters, we have stories of these characters. These are the new legends they're making.
Right.
With DC, after this crisis, it's all gonna either go back to where it was before or revert at square one. And I think it's reverting at square one because I saw
Yeah.
if you saw the new design of Power Girl, it's
Right.
a surprise. She's black.
Yeah.
I did not see that.
Yeah. She's back.
Yeah,
now.
she's black.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like with New 52, like all of the new characters they showed were like weak. No one ever really liked them. Like we're not gonna get anything from New 52
Right.
except for they ruined Starfire.
But
Forever.
yeah. But just quickly go back and see where what DC used to do, and because when we spoke at the very beginning when we started this podcast, and we said, here is the thing, the greatest thing about what DC used to do as opposed to Marvel is that their kids grew up with us.
Yes.
Yeah, we haven't gotten any new characters that we've seen.
But
grow
they
with them.
never took that to the next generation, which Marvel is what they're doing. They're actually inserting characters in a universe as if they always existed. Like a prime example, Jessica Jones,
Yeah.
right? Like she was never there until they inserted her with Alias,
Yeah.
right? And then all of a sudden she was in the universe, or she used to be Jewel, right? But she wasn't there before, right? DC should have been doing that with the next generation.
Yeah,
And
The JSA.
right, and they were doing it well, even with JSA, because there was Cyclone
Yeah,
and all that
Cyclone,
stuff.
Stargirl.
Stargirl.
Cyclone was awesome, but
Yeah, I know. But they stopped, right? Even Young Justice, if you want to include those as well, because they grew up into the Teen Titans.
Yeah.
But they should have been somebody underneath, right?
There
the
should
new
always
Young
be-
Justice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there should always be someone underneath. They're
Underneath.
constant Going, yeah.
Exactly. But they didn't do that. So you could see where they faltered and where where Marvel is trying to pick up. And you're right, with all these young characters coming
Yeah.
in.
Well, no, like I think that that Miss Marvel run is gonna be fantastic as like a whole.
Yeah.
But I just think that the rest of the universe, I don't think we're gonna get those good long runs, which makes me sad. But you know what? We're gonna get good runs. Like I can't say that and also think Remender's run is the greatest Cap run of all time. Like it's kind of contradictory to my own statement.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it for right now. We're gonna come back. We're gonna finish it off with Javon.
All right.
See you next time.
I hope we don't see you next time.
I'm keeping that in.